Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Tuesday morning to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well this morning, having a great start to your Tuesday and a great week out there so far. Got you an update on what is likely going to unfold for your weather for your Tuesday, July the 26th. So I'm expecting some decently active weather. There's a flooding concern. There's an ongoing flooding issue right now in and around the St. Louis area. I think certain areas, radar estimate shows maybe over a foot of rain has fell this morning. It continues to rain pretty heavy in that area. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the beginning of the video. And we'll talk about other areas that could see flooding issues today. And just the risk of severe storms with a stalled frontal boundary. And then we'll talk about the heat also. So if you guys have not subscribed, consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Apologize, I really haven't done any evening videos lately. There's nothing to talk about, guys. Hurricane season is off to a really slow start. I'm starting to think maybe it won't be until a little bit later in August. It's just your typical start to hurricane season. I know that predictions were up for a hyperactive hurricane season, and things could really get crazy very quickly. And we can run on through the hurricane alphabet very fast. But for now, there's no signal really pointing to anything getting going. I know we've been talking about a little bit how there was the potential for a signal, but other than that, it really has not remained. In fact, it's went away. So I'm not going to sound any hype alarms for you guys. I'm not going to talk about something that just isn't there. I'm not going to make hurricane forecasts. That's just not what I do, guys. I think a lot of people who do it, it's not a shot at them. It's just a shot in the dark. It's just like the winter forecast. I can sit here and make a winter forecast right now if I want and just throw a bunch of graphics up there and talk about what I think is going to happen. But really, I'm basing it off nothing except maybe El Nino, La Nina, and just climate. But it's still just, it's kind of just a guess. But anyways, definitely subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate the growth in the slow times. If you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. So let's get rolling this morning. Water vapor loop. It does show what is going on very well. You got a ridge of high pressure right here in the south central U.S. It's still just baking you guys alive. And then you have energy flying around it. So that's kind of what's happening with this on the northern fringe of this ridge of high pressure. A lot of showers, storms, not really severe storms, just a lot of heavy rain. And then the frontal boundary kind of stalls out and droops over this area of the country right into here. So I think into Kentucky here in the later morning hours, you're going to have a storm threat, and you're also going to have a flooding risk. And then we'll talk about this little upper trough swinging through in Canada. This will promote some severe storms in areas of the north central U.S. and just hot and humid conditions in the southeast and just very hot in the south central U.S. Storm Prediction Center, just a marginal risk. There's no slight risk up. Maybe this upgrades to a slight risk, maybe not. But I do think there will be a chance of some severe storms in the Carolinas today, especially North Carolina and especially into Virginia. And then we'll have to watch this little area right here, Tennessee, Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, especially in this further west region here in the next few hours. And there's a little small marginal risk right here. Other than that, just general risk of thunderstorms. You can actually tell where the ridge of high pressure is, where there's just not a chance of thunderstorms at all. But really, the biggest risk here is damaging winds. Hail and tornado, there's not even a shaded area up. Excessive rainfall outlook. I would not be surprised if rain keeps trending over the same areas. Maybe they upgrade something to a moderate risk of the excessive rainfall outlook here. But right now, just a slight risk for almost all of Kentucky. And then the southern sections of the Ohio Valley states like Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. This also extends into West Virginia and then portions of Tennessee and Virginia. Watching this complex of storms, and here it is right here. I mean, look at this. This is what you call training, where storms just keep going over the same areas. This is St. Louis, certain areas, and you got flash flood warnings all along this little boundary right here. This is pretty heavy rain, not really severe storms, just heavy, heavy rain. Certain areas have picked up 8 to 12 inches of rain in and around the St. Louis area, and it's just continuing to funnel in. This will eventually, wow, zoomed out way too far there, but this will eventually, well, not probably, but this will actually continue to move in to Kentucky. This will bring beneficial rains to areas of western Kentucky, but, there's that town in Kentucky that's got that water issue. You guys, I think, are going to get some rain here in the next coming hours if you're not already raining right now, but this will continue to move through, and that's why you have that slight risk, at least a 15% risk of flash flood guidance being met in that area. Then you got The heat advisory is very hot for the entire state of Arkansas, southern Missouri. There'll be a tight boundary of very hot conditions and just average to actually below average temperatures to the north, but very hot in the areas in the orange where you got heat advisories, purple, excessive heat warnings, and then you got the red flag warnings, I believe, in the pink here. But let's go on and look at the southeast. We'll look at the NAM. The A-R model has not been performing super well. In fact, it seems like every day over the last several days, it seems like the more aggressive scenario has played out here in the southeast in regards to storms. So we'll take a look at the NAM. And it's picking up on this little complex of storms very well, but this is starting off at 10 a.m. So by now, this is moving into Indiana. So southern Indiana, very soggy morning. This moves into Kentucky, but I have a feeling this could be extended a little bit further south. At the same time, this little area begins to weaken, so maybe the heavy rain begins to lessen, but then it'll kind of and reinitialize, if you will, and then you'll have more showers and storms. It kind of develops in the same kind of regions as they did yesterday in the Appalachian Mountains here, and then kind of drifts east. So I think the upstate of South Carolina, triad of North Carolina, by the time we get into 2, 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, even Atlanta could see a shower or storm. I think these begin to form and then drift east or southeastward. And then these could be severe also, even all the way down to South Carolina, even Augusta to Columbia, especially once you get to the Charlotte area, points north and northeast into Raleigh. Some severe storms are possible around dinner time. Watch out, central Virginia. Frontal boundary will be extending into Virginia. Maybe these storms have a little bit of spin to them due to the frontal boundary with two different wind directions hitting each other. That is possible. Very known storm chaser in Virginia that seems to always be on every single storm in Virginia. Watch out in Virginia and even into northern areas of North Carolina. Maybe some big-time storms are possible. I'm not talking about an outbreak, but maybe definitely an elevated risk of a severe storm in that area. And then we'll take a little bit closer look at this complex of storms that moves through. And we're getting into 12. Heavy rain falling in Louisville, Cincinnati, and then we're getting into early this afternoon. Heavy rains continuing to extend into northern Kentucky, but I think this could extend a little further south down here into Jacksonville, Bowling Green, London, Kentucky. But I think most of Tennessee will remain pretty quiet, and I think maybe later this afternoon, maybe another area of storms develops. Maybe around dinner time, and then these could be severe as the atmosphere recovers. So we'll watch out for that into anywhere extending from Jackson, Mississippi, all the way to Jackson, Kentucky, and every city in between. Nashville. These storms could be severe, working into the late evening hours. Then we'll move a little bit further east into Virginia, and this is what we'll watch out. I'm looking at the NAM here. This is around lunchtime, getting into about 2, 3 o'clock. Here comes the storms racing out of West Virginia, and then moving into and getting close to Roanoke, Charlottesville, where storms love to intensify in this area. I don't know if it has something to do with how the Appalachian Mountains kind of goes down into more of the plains of Virginia. That doesn't make any sense, but just more flattened areas. I don't know if there's some kind of enhancement, a lee trough, something, but there's always something that really enhances the storms around Roanoke to Charlottesville. So we'll watch for that feature today. And then just heavy rain showers and storms down to Raleigh. But any of these can be severe. This is starting to get into the 8 p.m. time frame. So I think a pretty active evening across eastern Virginia, eastern North Carolina, even central North Carolina. Then we'll watch for a more robust area of storms that develops that maybe quickly weakens as it gets into West Virginia and western Virginia. So continue to watch that. Very high conditions. Dog days of summer. As I mentioned the last several videos, very hot in the same areas it's been hot. Tight boundary up here, rain-cooled air up here. Will the atmosphere recover in Tennessee and southern Kentucky for more storms of fire this evening? It's definitely quite possible. The NAM shows it well. Very hot conditions in the Carolinas and Georgia, where it's going to get up into the low to as high as the high 90s. Is certainly possible. So it's certainly likely, I would say. So very hot. Up in the northeast, very quiet. You're north of this boundary, so really about the only areas that could see showers and storms. Maybe Washington, D.C., a shower or storm. But from PA points northeast, pretty quiet weather as you basically have gotten more dry air that's worked through potential high temperatures today. 80 still possible, still pretty warm in southern New England, but nothing compared to the last several days. Dry air has worked through, and it's going to feel very nice in the northeast today. Widespread 70s and 80s, definitely possible. The south central U.S., ridge of high pressure right into here. flow is working around the ridge of high pressure. And you're not going to get anything in Texas or Oklahoma really today. If you do play the lottery tonight, because you're very, very lucky, but maybe some isolated showers and storms will fire again in northern Arkansas, maybe isolated throughout the entire state of Missouri. You could see a shower or storm, and then maybe some showers working their way through Kansas a little bit later today. But other than that, nothing to really talk about here except extremely hot temperatures. Very impressive boundaries stretching through Kansas and Missouri. Almost the exact same as yesterday. The ridge really hasn't moved much, but very high conditions in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, and southern Kansas. The HRRR model wants to get y'all close to 110 degrees today, so let's hope not. But western Tennessee has been very hot too. Mississippi and Louisiana. You guys, I just feel like I reiterate and repeat myself with this area, and I hate it. Can't wait till we can talk about a cold front for this area for sure. North central U.S., I definitely think this upper trough will fire up some storms a little bit later this morning in areas of Minnesota, especially the northern half. International Falls, maybe a storm or two for you guys. And then watch out Minneapolis, maybe to your north, maybe a stronger storm or two. And then we'll watch for any storm development a little bit further southwest into Nebraska, maybe areas of South Dakota, into areas of southern Minnesota, into Iowa. And these storms could be severe today for sure. Temperatures, I think they'll be a little bit more warm compared to yesterday. But other than that, not super hot. Widespread 70s and 80s. Cooler the more north you get naturally. Pretty warm day in the northern Michigan area, but still not that warm. But other than that, that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate you guys, and have an awesome Tuesday.